back, folks. Once again, good morning, good evening, good afternoon, whoever you are, wherever you are, whenever you are. Thanks again for joining us here at Geeks Gambit. You may or may not have already seen our first video on how to become a Pokemon collector. This here will be the second in these series of videos to help new collectors get their bearings and get the most from their new hobby. In this video, we'll be exploring what to look for on a Pokemon card. If you're brand new, you open a pack, you look, you may not know a lot of the items that are there, and a lot of it is explained to you, but it's kind of encoded. Let's have a look. Starts with the pack. Onto this. Hopefully to this, or this. And even these. What makes them different? So that was just a handful of cards. Let's take a closer look at what is on those cards. Okay, so here we have Shinx. This card is relatively straightforward. We've got a name. We have the type of Pokemon it is. Is it a basic? It is a stage 1, stage 2, which is evolved. That's going to be here. Again, game information. Hit points. For the game, we've got an amount of energy for a type of attack and how much damage that attack does. Once again, for the game. Of course, we've got our QP picture. We have more information about the Pokemon itself, which actually has no bearing on the game. Again, storyline and just trying to make things different. Weaknesses, resistance, how much it costs to retreat. Once again, game information. And here, we've just got a little bit of color text. All of its fur dazzles if danger is sensed. It flees while the foe is momentarily blinded. Here, we've got who did the illustration. This right here is important. This tells us what set this card is from. There are over 125 sets from Pokemon, and we're just talking the US sets. Each of those sets has a symbol except for the base sets. And if you're dealing with foreign cards, the symbols could be different, and it can be confusing. That's why I use this site. Card Maven, great resource. Does have more than just set symbols on here, but I definitely have a bookmark for that. I'm getting in collections that date back over 20 years old and have everything from base set and jungle and earlier WotC sets to current sets. Since we're dealing with new collectors, WotC, Wizards of the Coast, is who originally published Pokemon cards here in the US. So you'll hear that from time and again, but man, there are so many sets, forget about it, right? There's no way I could remember all these. I don't know if you can, maybe, but over 130 actually, I think, 130 some sets just here in the US. It is definitely interesting, and I'd recommend bookmarking this if you're going to be collecting for any length of time. Thanks, Card Maven. Here tells us the number of the card and how many cards are in the set. So 46 of 163. My ham hands kind of drew over a little bit. But that tells us where it goes into the set. And this little icon, this is important. This tells us the rarity of the card. You remember we went over the last card. We have name, we have what type. See, this one's a stage 2, hit points, game info, story info, picture. And once again, we have the card number, the set, and that rarity symbol. So let's go over this real quick. When you're opening a pack of Pokemon cards and you see that rarity symbol, what are you looking for? Well, a circle or dot is going to be a common card. They're going to be commons. You're going to get more of them than others. You're going to get doubles regularly. Then there's going to be uncommons. You won't get as many. You'll still end up getting doubles after a while, and they typically don't have the value. Commons are really inexpensive. Uncommons are really inexpensive too. So if you're trying to build a set and you're somehow short some commons or uncommons, it's going to be pretty easy to fill those, either through buying more more packs, or through buying cards individually. Stars are rares. So rares even have different levels there. They have rares, they have secret rares. Some have been referred to as ultra rares. So even within that rare category, you actually have multiple levels of rarity. Rare cards, you're going to get one a pack. Some are going to be easier to find than others. Some are going to be harder to find than others. And you also have some cards that do not have a rarity symbol at all. In older sets, this was an error that sometimes happened. In newer sets, what we see more often is that this is done purposefully, because it's a promo card usually, although there are some other instances where this happens. So if you're collecting, these stars are something to definitely keep an eye out for, because they're going to be harder to get. Next thing I want to talk about real quick is this card number out of the set. This is a Battle Styles card. We know that because this is one of the ones we opened in the previous video, but also because of the symbol. At the same point in time, Battle Styles is 163 cards. Doesn't seem like too hard a set to build. One thing to keep in mind, you will have cards that are not 136 out of 163. Their number does not fit into that 163. So the larger number will be here to the left. And what that means is it is a secret rare. It's part of the set, but it's like an extension of the set. I am not sure why they decided to do this instead of making these cards just part of the set. Maybe because those cards, remember we talked about rarity, are harder to find than other rare cards. And they want people to be able to say, hey, I made a set without having to chase down these secret rares. Traditionally, a secret rare will come one in a booster box, right around. Usually one in a booster box, although I've opened booster boxes that had none. I have yet to see a booster box where two have come out, but I'm sure it's happened. Someone will prove me wrong. And that would mean, you're looking at about one every 30 to 60 packs. So in theory, if you're grabbing, sleeve boosters off the shelf somewhere, out of 60, you should get, one or two or three. So that's something to keep in mind, that even though there's 163 cards in this set is actually bigger than 163. So while you're planning out your binder and how you're going to store everything, do a little bit of research online, see how many cards there actually are, and know how much room and how many supplies you'll need. Alright folks, that seems to wrap it up. Last video was, how to open packs, how to care for your cards a little bit. We'll talk more about that down the road. Now here in our second video about collecting Pokemon, we've talked about some key things you want to look for on the card itself when pulling those cards from packs. Hopefully it's been informational for you. Hopefully you've got a new website you can go save and do some research on as you're getting into this great hobby. If you have any questions, comments, leave them below. Of course, always like and subscribe clicks we get. And I thank you so much for staying with us here through the second video. We're going to have more for you shortly. And we're going to talk not only just about how to collect Pokemon, but sooner or later we're going to talk also about playing Pokemon. We'll do some fun openings. We'll do some giveaways. As a matter of fact, I think I'm going to throw up yet another code. This one we'll put down by the beard again. Go ahead and use that. Enjoy. Thank you so much, guys, and we will talk to y'all soon.